Hi, strangers, and welcome back to the Nightly Show with Taco. If it's not nighttime, you're just here. So today I have been interviewing Astra, and that's pretty much it. We're just going to be doing the same questions I did last episode whenever I interviewed B-Man. So with that out of the way, I hope you all enjoy. Question number 1. If there was one thing you could add to BRM5, what would it be?
One thing to add to BRM5. There's definitely a lot of stuff that is being added in the future, like new vehicles, new
Yeah.
weapons and stuff. Personally, what I'd add, if they do add boats, as it was listed in their community survey, I definitely would recommend them possibly adding the option of, because if you think about it, where Ronograd, the real life island of Ronograd in the real world is actually a series of islands in the middle of the ocean. So if they actually added another one of those islands with a cup, maybe not as much locations as Ronograd, but it could be more like, let's say, remember that in Operation Viper and before, that Ronograd city raid that happened every like 20 minutes
Oh,
or something?
yeah.
Yeah, so just picture like the island's usually like maybe like off limits, but like every 20-30 minutes there's like a massive like amphibious raid or something by the enemy forces on like
Yeah,
the islands or something, and then you'd
that'd
have
be
to have
pretty cool.
boats to intercept. I don't know, no. There's definitely a lot of stuff that they could add, and a lot of the stuff that's being covered right now, especially with the new like less American stuff, like adding
Yeah.
more Russian, European, English stuff or whatever. It would be cool. They've already added the new uniforms and stuff that I'm pretty sure a lot of people are happy about. But overall, they're doing pretty well. It just has to see what they get up to in the future.
All right, that's a very good answer, I'd say. I think whenever you're talking about the amphibious invasion, like after like a wave follow up or something, I've really liked how when Operation Resurgence you can actually see like jeeps out in the distance come to the like with the City Hall area. You can see them coming along the bridge from like Fort Ronograd.
Ages away.
You can see them coming
Yeah.
in. I think that's really cool how they did a little detail like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can see it with a bunch of locations as well. Like um, in my opinion, I think that the El Chara waves are probably like the least appealing with like distance and detail wise, considering
Yeah.
they just kind of spawn in and you can see it. But compared to like like the village raid or something when they come in from like near where the DOU is and stuff. But it's still really good. The new details instead of them just kind of spawning on you like the old stuff.
Yeah, you've actually just made me realize I've never gone to the village raid ever since Operation Resurgence. I don't know why. I've done
Yeah,
everything else
nobody
besides
really
that
goes
one.
there.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think Naval
it's
Base and the village are like the two least go to. Because Department of
yeah
Utilities,
that
you've got the missile, so everyone wants to see that.
mhm,
Fort Ronograd is infamous for being Fort Ronograd. El Charo is
yeah
simple. Mountain's just a meme, so everybody knows about that one.
hmm
Quarry is just
yeah exactly
cool now. Quarry's just
yeah
like the best
definitely.
place, and City
Unless you
Hall
go
is
down
just
the elevator and you just get absolutely ruined. But yeah,
yeah. It throws you off the first time you go down, but I've kind of you figure
yeah
it out quickly,
definitely.
I'd say. All right.
hmm
Question number 2: Are there any guns that you think need to be buffed or nerfed in round 5?
Um, so that's a pretty controversial thing, eh? Because like half the community is kind of like more like the fast-paced shooter
Mm-hmm.
side, and then the other half is kind of like stuff like factions or like quote unquote milsim.
Yeah.
So like half the community's like make every gun one shot head and torso, and then the other half is like, oh, why does the org like one shot to the head? It needs a
Yeah.
nerf and stuff. And like personally, what I'd do is if I were a dev, which I'm not, but um, I'd probably do a bit of both. Maybe you have to like, I don't know how to do it, but let's say when the admin panel comes out, they could maybe have or anything with PvP related stuff. They could maybe keep the original stats and possibly nerf some guns, like maybe like the Scar. They
Mm-hmm.
could do a mini nerf or like the Org. I have no idea. But then if they were wanting to do like open world or like maybe even with like the admin panel, they could make a quote unquote like milsim experience for like those factions and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe have it no heads up, like no GUI, not HUD. No GUI. Possible and like a possible damage model for like vehicles and stuff. Like
Uh-huh.
let's say like if there was some troll that was just messing around
Yeah.
and some faction decide to crash a jeep or something into a bunch of people, could do damage. But I don't know, because like then they could make their guns, all kind of like one shot head and torso against,
Mm-hmm.
AI. But it's really like it would be cool, but I don't know how to manage to properly implement it, especially with like that new game editor that's coming out, like the
Oh
3 Zeus
yeah,
mod.
the
But
Zeus, yeah.
yeah, like when they add that, hopefully that it's good. Because when I saw the Zeus thing, I'm kind of hoping maybe you could put enemy ambushes on the roads instead of kind of like it's probably been really hyped up, and if they add it
Yeah.
only like, oh yeah, you can just respawn a bunch of people on one location, then that's just gonna ruin it.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of
But
people talking about how people want. I don't know if the devs even confirmed it, but I've heard people like Orandello talk about how he wants to have abilities to place down enemies like on ridges and be able to actually put like spawn points and stuff like that. So I think that's actually a
yeah,
really
that would
cool
be cool.
thing. Yeah, because then you don't have to have just places like Department of Utilities, Fort Ronnegrass, stuff like that. You can actually put ambushes on like just random hillsides and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like that would probably work with like the factions. I'm
Yeah, it
sure
would
that the
be
factions
so
would
good
really
for
enjoy that.
factions.
Like I think that's probably what would get people into factions with the real game editor, like the real
Hmm.
time game editor. Sorry. Just instead of having a bunch of like factions, like, oh yeah, listen up. I'm Captain such and such, and we're going to be raiding
Yeah,
the mountain. It's like, bro, I've done this 12 times today. Like nobody
exactly.
cares. I think that's why people think that factions are like cringy because they don't have enough flexibility with the game at the moment
Yeah.
compared to like armor 3 factions or squad factions.
Yeah, I think Zeus will
Um,
be an amazing feature because that
yeah,
way
definitely.
you can have a lot more ability with just whatever you want to do, but it also makes that way you're not like rating the same thing every single time. It's always going to be a unique engagement, even if it's just against AI or something like that. It's still going to be very unique.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I've definitely seen a good area for Zeus is, that, when you're driving to the quarry or like the city hall, there's those two mountain valleys
Yeah.
and like the little river thing. Yeah, you could possibly put some AI up there, have
Hmm.
them run down the mountain at you, which would work.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool to see. All right. Number 3, BRM5's dev team has teased a COD zombie style game mode. Are you interested?
That's, yeah, like I said, it's another controversial thing, definitely. Like, I do know that a lot of people would be like, yeah, zombies are cool,
Mm.
but, I think at the moment they should probably stay away from zombies, especially with the AI, because like the AI right now, although it's good, really like their only tactic is just banzai charge
Yeah.
you.
It still
So
needs some improvements.
yeah, it needs a little bit of improvement. Definitely, there is some other small things that they should fix, like meshes, and I know that meshes is really hard to fix, but um, let's say El Chara, right? You get up to one of the gates and you try to shoot up at the enemies on the roof. You pretty much had to go around to the other gate to shoot them because there's this massive mesh there that
Yeah.
blocks all bullets. Um, so overall, I think that they should probably not focus on new game modes at the moment, considering open world right now is, they don't have the quest thing yet. They don't have,
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff that's going to keep open world entertaining enough.
They're very
And
ambitious.
PvP, yeah, definitely. They've definitely probably set their goals really high.
Yeah.
Even though like a lot of them are now working on it full time, it's still quite a small dev team.
Hmm.
Um,
It's like 6
and like although
people?
listening to the community is good, if they just keep adding stuff what the community wants before
Yeah.
adding what they actually need, that's gonna probably cause a possible downfall of the game, which would be really sad to see.
Hmm.
However, although like at the moment what they're doing is they're kind of like um adding what the community wants, but they're keeping radio silence until the update comes out, so they should really
Yeah.
communicate
They've
more.
done some teasers on their Twitter with like the new secondaries, but they haven't
Yeah,
added them yet
but
either.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're modeled. I don't know when they're adding them.
Yeah,
But
I actually thought they were gonna add them in the whenever they updated Quarry. I thought they were gonna update, add them
yeah,
in that update, but I guess not. So
yeah, maybe some of the animations aren't done, I guess.
maybe.
But um, yeah, the zombies game mode. I don't know if it would work like the Halloween event or not, but it's definitely a cool idea.
Yeah.
However, with BRM5, maybe it would give a bit of a ring back to like BRM1 and stuff.
Yeah, I was
But
about to say that it would be more of kind
like
of
it
like a
would be a
callback
bit
to
of a
the older
nostalgia
games.
trip. Yeah. However, wasn't like BRM1 based in like Somalia or something? So like having
Yeah.
zombies in like the middle of the ocean would be weird if it was a
BRM2 is
callback. But
definitely a lot more zombie. I think it's just a zombie game, right? I
yeah, I'm
forget.
pretty
I
sure.
haven't played it in forever.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't played BRM2 in quite a few years, but I'm pretty sure it was a zombie shooter.
All right, number 4.
But yeah.
Oh, do you have anything else you want to add?
Nah, you can
Okay.
continue.
Number 4. Do you think that raid mode should be added back?
Oh yeah, these are some good questions, eh? Personally, raid mode, it depends on what they want to do with it, because raid mode, the old one, it was alright. However, it was just kind of like the only reason why people would play it would be for the gun,
Yeah.
and like there was not really any point playing it apart from that. Especially with your 5-star, considering that
Yeah,
90%
exactly.
of the time you'd get like just XP,
Or
and
cash, yeah.
you'd get a really
Not
small cash
useful.
reward that's kind of useless, because like what back then, if you got the cash completion on raid mode, it could have been the equivalent of like what
I think it was
one or
100
maybe two
cash.
truck missions. Yeah,
Wasn't
it
it
was
like
like
100 cash
100
or
or
so? Yeah,
500
it was
something.
really, really
Yeah,
small.
yeah. So the main reason, I guess, people just played for the C782 and just did, you know.
Yeah, I actually,
Um,
whenever I was talking to B Man about this, I told him that I think they should, if they add raid mode back, just theoretically, if they added it back and there's like a new gun or whatever, I think they should completely ditch the roulette wheel thing. So basically, the first time whenever you beat it, because obviously it's supposed to be a difficult thing. That's already,
yeah.
it's supposed to be, you can't really solo it. You definitely need a group or something like that. So I think the first time, whenever you beat it, that you should just get the gun first time.
Mm.
And then after that, if you beat it again, you get a cash and XP reward. It's just you get a cash and XP reward for beating it again and again and again. So that way you
Personally,
don't
what
have to
I'd
keep
oh wait,
doing the
yeah, sorry.
roulette.
Yeah, definitely. But personally, with the raid mode thing, I'd probably change it out. Like, it would definitely be really ambitious, but I'd probably do a campaign type thing instead of a raid mode.
Hmm.
With each completion giving you, let's say, like a weapon from the country, or like a memorable thing from the country
Oh
that you
yeah.
fought in. Um, like they could definitely do like like the um raid mode, New Dawn map, because that looks like it would probably be in like Iraq or something.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna point at any countries though. Um,
Yeah.
but like they could add other countries and stuff into that. It doesn't have to be like the whole country, obviously, but like it could definitely be something similar. Like small team of operators goes around, but they could maybe even do stuff based off real events. Like recent times like Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Um, they could possibly do something like maybe in Iraq, like the Battle of Fallujah.
Mhm.
Having to go through each room, breach and clear, which would work possibly.
I highly doubt
Um,
they'll actually call
yeah.
it that, but they might have
Oh yeah, definitely.
maybe
They
something
probably
like a
can
breach
call
and
something
clear
the
mission.
Battle of
Yeah.
Fallujah. Yeah,
I don't think they
but
can get away with like the Iranian or the
yeah,
embassy siege.
exactly. Killing. Yeah, definitely. But like they could give like Easter eggs to some stuff like that.
Mm.
Like I do remember that the original BRM1 was based off the Blackhawk Down incident. They could possibly give a ring back to that, although I don't think that would work either. They'd probably have to modify it so Roblox doesn't come after them and
Yeah.
ban them. Because yeah, that event that happened with the whole Black Hawk Down thing didn't really go too well for both sides. So um, they would probably have to edit that. But maybe having those real world styled engagements for the raid mode campaign, and then have like every time you complete it, you just get something from that thing. Like, I do know that they're adding stuff soon, like the AK-74 and stuff, which like you could possibly get because that's known to be like, like a Russian or an insurgent weapon and stuff.
Yeah.
You could possibly get that as wait, sorry, no, not an AK-74, an AKM. But yeah, you could get stuff like that from the location that you could maybe get, I don't know, some other gun from the locations and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how that would work, especially considering that it would take them ages to get each level out.
Yeah, I agree.
And it would probably be really bore the community. They probably had to actually sit down and work on it full time for like a couple months to just get like 1 or 2 out. So probably not at the moment. I'd say keep raid mode out and just focus on PvP and open world at the moment until they get it into a better place.
Yeah, I
So
agree. I think they should kind of try to fix PvP and open world currently before they try to move on to anything new. But these are just the sake of just for asking questions.
yeah, definitely.
Because right now you can't even spectate properly in PvP, so they definitely need to fix that before they add something like like zombies.
Yeah, like they said that they were gonna add it like proper spectating in a couple of weeks. It's been like a month, and
Yeah.
it still hasn't done anything.
I mean, they're not wrong. It is a couple weeks, technically.
Yeah, true. Technically.
All right, number 5. Do you think that a quest system in BRM5 where you can receive cash and XP would be a good or bad thing?
Well, considering that's already been added, I'm hoping that it will be a good thing. Considering what happened with Operation like Viper and beforehand and stuff, like it worked. However, it was kind of like the only thing that people would grind for.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they'd add it without having half the server flying around and waiting for those things to spawn in and just yoinking stuff. So I have no clue.
Well, I mean, you could just do them in private servers technically, but still.
Yeah, technically, but for like the people that don't know how to, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Especially like if you're playing with your friends or something, there's always going to be that one mate that just trolls and just yoinks your thing,
I think if you actually go into the PL5 Discord server right now, go to suggestion info, the MP5SD, AKM, and the 93R, it says that they're all playing for a quest reward. I don't know why I can't say quest today. But yeah, they all seem to be playing for a reward, so I think it's kind of cool. But I don't know if it should be like a fetch quest like they did with KP. I think that was his name in Viper, where you go, get his guitar and you get like a badge for it. So I don't know if they should do something like that again, because I feel like while that was a good thing, it will get very, very fast, like really, really repetitive quickly, And I don't think that'll be a good thing. Like, you can't do that for every single thing. We're like, okay, you need to go find this and then get that and then get this and then get that and then this and that and then bada bing, bada boom, you got an AKM. I think that's kind of
exactly.
I don't think that's a very bright idea. I think what they should do is something like, I don't know if you ever played TF2, but they've got like a stat track thing where you basically complete a bunch of challenges, and as you go along with the challenges, you get rewards for it. So it's something, like, hey, get like, I don't know, 10 kills in PvP with an AK-74, and then it's like, all right, like raid El Chara, the desert, like complete 3 waves of that, and then it's like you've completed 2 of those, and then there you go, there's the AKM or something. It's like you have to actually complete a series of challenges to get a gun, but just to get like cash and XP, you only do like 1 challenge, and you just get that.
Yeah, that would make sense, because like, it shouldn't be easy, especially with like, the cooler guns like the
it definitely should take some time.
I know that like every man and his dog would probably want an MP5 SD.
Yeah,
it's like pretty cool. Like especially like the people that wanna, look like probably some like SCP fanboy.
Oh yes.
Would probably want one of those. But like, it's like, if it's just, kill a couple people, there you go, here's your gun. That means that, like, literally everybody is going to be running around with, like, an AKM or, like, a 93R, and it's just going to ruin the whole vibe of having, something unique, kind of like the C7A2.
Yeah.
Like, even though a lot of people had it, you still had to work for it. And, like, the chance of you getting it first try is pretty low. But, it's just... I have no idea how to implement it. Maybe, like, it's just really confusing because, like, apparently they're adding back, like, stuff like the Org A1 into the quest system, which would and the
Oh,
C7A2,
yeah. I really hope they
which would
don't
kind
do
of
that.
defeat the purpose.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
you
because
know,
like the
it's
whole
just
point. C7A2 and AUG 1, they aren't like really good guns. AUG 1's basically a downgrade of the AUG 3, even though I guess
yeah.
it technically has lower recoil from what I've heard, but that doesn't. I don't care. AUG 1
Mm.
has slightly lower recoil, but it's the scope just sucks on it. So AUG 3 is basically better, and the C7A2 is basically just a reskin of the M4A1. So they're not like really good guns. They're more just like collector pieces, I guess.
Yeah, like the Orgay one is so basically from what I've seen with like the Aussie stuff, like they use something similar, could like what the F88, which is literally just pretty much an Orgay one.
Mm-hmm.
But like man, that one's like a classic. It's like really old, but like
Yeah.
now we have something called like the EF88, which is essentially what an Orgay 3 is, but a bit different. It's kind of like if they like added that maybe instead of like an Orgay 1, you know,
Mm-hmm.
back like they could maybe have like a modified variant of the
So more of like a modern version.
yeah, maybe more modern versions of the guns and stuff like the C7A2. I don't know what they'd add, but
Yeah.
um, but like they could maybe add improvements and stuff. Some other Canadian weapon maybe instead of
Mm.
the C7A2.
I think
Um,
with the weapons, they're gonna have to be careful about what they do because, like, if it's gonna be like
mm,
an event thing where it's only like a certain time, they have to make these guns where people are like they want to get them, but
yeah,
they can't be like broken, because then it's like
mm,
completely unfair to people who weren't around when the event happened. And like, oh, this gun, like, say, assume the AKM is like one of the best guns in the game, and then the event ends, you can no longer get it. It's kind of unfair for the people
yeah,
who couldn't get it. But at the same
yeah,
time,
definitely.
I don't want it to be where it's just everybody can get it because that kind of ruins the purpose and kind of the need or I guess want to get the or actually do the quest and something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They definitely have to be very careful with how they introduce the quest system, but I hope it will be something really
Yeah.
really cool that people will want to do and like it can help out new players because like like hey like go to El Char like yeah you could raid that normally but you could also complete a mission on the side and also gain extra for doing
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
So they have to be careful about what they do, but I think it can be a really good thing.
Yeah.
All right, here is our final question. This one's a big one. Was BRM5 better in Operation Viper rather than Operation Resurgence, and why?
Oh, so basically, what I think, in my opinion, like both were good in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Viper had its simplicity and like the build up of the original stuff essentially.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, and like everyone, it kind of worked. Basically everyone was kind of happy with what they had. The PvP people had the PvP. The factions had the open world.
Mm-hmm.
Everything worked. Operation Resurgence kind of tried to build on it, but it was a very controversial update, eh?
Yeah, it had a very
But
rocky start.
oh yeah, definitely, it was just I don't know, like because stuff like the A10, right? Like everyone just has the A10 now, and every single public open world game
Oh yeah,
join, it's just the A10 up in the sky, and it's annoying. But not much you can do about that.
yeah,
But it's just, yeah, I don't know, because like it's like you want to, go back to Viper, but at the same time, Resurgence is really good. Personally,
yeah,
um, personally with me, like what I've found is that like like with those really slow helicopters and stuff now, and like the model literally being jailbreak, it just kind of
oh
like
yeah,
ruin the fun. Like, cause now like it's kind of weird that like a jeep can go faster than like a helicopter.
mm-hmm.
Like people bought the Chinook for like speed in space usually.
Yeah.
And then now it's the slowest helicopter in the game. So but I have no idea. Like with my opinions and stuff, like, cause like Resurgence has so much good stuff now that like
Yeah,
it's so much better than like many Roblox games. But Viper was, Viper.
Viper is what everybody remembers, and like they kind of miss.
Yeah.
But today, I feel like it got. I'd say if Operation Resurgence stayed the way it was whenever it launched, I would hands down say that we need to go back to Operation Viper. But I think after the update where they revamped Quarry and they've added a whole bunch of new sound effects and
Yeah.
stuff like that, I think BRM5 has gotten immensely better after that update. Like
Yeah,
just
definitely.
it's like just a small, even like just for PvE. I mean, it's just such a massive thing. Quarry is an absolute amazing place to raid, and it makes me want to go there now. It makes me, a PvP sweat want to play PvE because it's just so cool, and
Yeah, definitely.
it's very very interesting. And I hope they continue to actually revamp places because I think if they can make
Yeah.
everything on the same level as they have with Quarry, I think it'd be PvE would be even better than it is now. But
Yeah, absolutely.
I definitely think the way it's going, that the game's getting better, I guess, is what I should say. It's getting a lot
Yeah,
better,
it's
and
a
I think
fresh
it's
start.
heading in the right direction. I still kind of miss dolphin diving, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad it's gone.
Yeah. The
It's
only
kind of one of
thing
those
that
things
I
where I'm
want.
50-50 on.
Yeah, exactly. Like the dolphin diving stuff was kind of cool, but it's kind of unrealistic. But like personally, I think that like some of the animations, like especially like going prone and stuff, it's like so fast. It just teleports to the
Yeah,
ground.
it's
Um,
very annoying to
but
deal with in
yeah,
PvP. I mean,
yeah, definitely. Like maybe have like a little mini animation or something just to make it a bit more fair.
mm-hmm.
You know. But I don't know how they'll do that.
I don't know either. All right, that is all the questions I had. Thank you for coming by and stopping and talking. Really do appreciate it, man.